Yo, what's going on, guys? So in today's video, we're gonna give you guys some trade options for certain teams. We're gonna be looking at some teams that need some contenders, what trades they gotta make. We're mostly gonna be focusing on contenders, I would say.
Yeah, because ain't nobody trying to talk about the Wizards or the Pistons. We're just talking about the teams that actually matter at this point of the year. We're already halfway through. We already know what teams are gonna be like the main contenders at this point. Obviously, some surprises can happen, kind of like the Celtics a few years ago, but let's just get straight into it, bro. Let's not waste any more time. The first team we gotta talk about is the Bucks, who have had a weird season. Every single time we talk about them, we're always like, they're good, but they have their flaws. So, what are some of the flaws that they could fix by making a trade?
The biggest thing that they gotta fix is kind of that two guard, that wing, because they don't really got no defense on that team, especially for other point guards. They don't really have any point of attack defense. They really gotta fix that. You know, Malik Beasley, he shot the ball great. But when it comes to pairing him next to Dame, obviously they're not the two best defenders. And for whatever reason, maybe it's the coaching schemes, but the other guys in the back have not been able to make up for that, especially with Chris Middleton being so in and out of the lineup. But for them, I think some of the targets that they got to go for is a guy like Alex Caruso.
Wow.
I think if they can land Alex Caruso, that'd be great for them. I think, to me, they would maybe become even the favorites, just because I know how good of an impactful defender Alex Caruso is.
Like that, bro. Alex Caruso is that good. And then
you also got Matisse Thybulle and maybe like a Royce O'Neal as well.
This type of somebody that I told him yesterday that it kind of feels like he's being wasted on the Blazers. He's not the best player or anything, but his defensive talent is up there. But we saw him make some incredible plays when he was playing with the Sixers. And even though obviously he's not a good shooter, the Bucks with having Lillard out there, having Brook Lopez center that can shoot, having Middleton when he's healthy, I think they could afford playing him with that squad, and he will definitely help out on defense. You should be able to get him for not that much.
Yeah, so some of their trade options is Pat Connaughton. He's making around $8 million. You can definitely use him. They also got some young players like that a lot of teams will want, like Marshawn Beauchamp and Andre Jackson that they've been playing. Plus, they got a few second-round picks. They don't have too much pick equity. Obviously, they've wasted in the Drew Holiday trade, obviously the Damian Lillard trade, and stuff like that. But they do have some pick swaps.
Yeah, and then we included just to include it because it has been mentioned a little bit. The Dejounte Murray, most likely not, just based on the fact that like I was saying right now, they don't have a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Bucks GM has pulled out some really good moves before. So whatever, we just mentioned them because they were supported, but obviously we don't believe anything's gonna happen.
Honestly, I think if you put Murray on that team, it's gonna be a little bit of the same with Trae Young and him. You're kind of using Murray wrong at that point, and I feel like, for example, Murray's actually a
point guard.
He's a point guard, and I think the defense that he provides, the defense that makes him kind of excel, that makes people think that he's a good defender, is more on point guards. I feel like he's a guy that's skinny. He's a guy that can't really guard up positions, but when you put him on a point guard, obviously his long wingspan, it really shines. And this season, he just hasn't been good, at the shooting guard position.
Yeah,
the team is actually a -1 plus minus, while he's a +4 when he is playing point guard. So that's kind of interesting right there. Plus, to make that happen, he does make $18 million, so you'll need to either pair Pat Connaughton and Bobby Portis. I don't know if they want to do that, or trade Chris Middleton and see if you can get something else back, that'll
be tough. That'll be tough. That's a big decision.
Yeah.
You already traded Drew Holiday, somebody that meant a lot to our team. Like traded Middleton, that would be another player.
I don't know if you can do that in the middle of the season.
Nah, it might be too much. So moving on to a team that it's kind of weird to even talk about because it feels like they have everything. This is a team that's always been stacked with talent, but one thing we know has gotten in the way. And the team that we're talking about is the Clippers. Shout out to them, bro. First of all, have played amazing. Have looked like the best team in the NBA. Honestly, in the past few months at this point. And James Harden has fitting great. But the one thing that they could kind of regain is some wings. They had to trade a lot of their wings to get James Harden. So maybe somebody like we had talked about Bojan Bogdanovic. Wow, if the Clippers can get him on top of all the scores they already had, that would be incredible. And the crazy thing is that they can make it work.
Yeah, they can make it work. Right now they got PJ Tucker and Mason Plumlee. PJ Tucker makes around $11 million, and Mason Plumlee like a good $5 million. You can get up to $20 million, which is around what Bojan makes. And you guys know they don't mind spending money. Right. At the end of the day, Mason Plumlee, he's playing now because Zubac is injured, but they went on their run with him being out, so he's not that important. And obviously PJ is not playing either. But I think honestly, what they should look for, and I haven't seen this mentioned, but I think the player that could take this team to an unbelievable level is Dorian Finney-Smith. We're gonna be mentioning Dorian Finney-Smith a lot in this video, but I think if they're able to get Dorian Finney-Smith, because not only is he a good shooter, which that'll be great for the spacing because Terrence Mann hasn't been able to shoot that well this season. But he's a great defender, and he's kind of like that big defender that can take the best player away from a Kawhi, away from a PG. Because let's keep it real, Bojan Bogdanovic is a good scorer, but he's not that good of a defender, right? But Dorian Finney-Smith, wow.
I'm a Mavs fan, so I watched them a lot, especially in the playoffs when they got to conference finals. Boy, Dorian Finney-Smith is a fan favorite there.
Yep.
Everybody, when he was traded, they were sad about it. If there was one player they didn't want to trade with him, sadly they had to, obviously, because he is that valuable. So the Clippers or other teams that we're going to mention can get him. Wow. And something that I feel like went a bit under the radar. So the Clippers re-signed Kawhi Leonard.
Yep.
And I don't know if they have re-signed Paul George yet. But
Not yet, but I think
they will.
Yeah.
So pretty much they're committing to a scene. The next scene that we put a question mark because we don't really know exactly what they will need because they kind of need a lot.
They need a
We're talking about the Warriors, a team that, for example, we're Lakers fans. Even with the Lakers not having the best record, they still got hope.
Yep.
But for the Warriors right now, they're looking hopeless, bro. It's looking like their season is done for.
Yeah, with the Warriors, I don't really have any clue. Some reports are saying that they want to trade. They want to trade their young guys like Moody, like Kuminga.
And Wiggins is the main person that's been talking.
Yeah, he's the main person, which is kind of weird to me. Obviously, they have Chris Paul. That's $30 million. But right now, I think Chris Paul is just a contract that they can use to match salary.
No value there.
Same thing with Andrew Wiggins. I just don't think he has value right there. And I'm hearing that they don't even want to include their young guys. But I don't even know how much pick equity they even have. Like, let me check it out for you guys. Yeah, they don't have that. They have a solid amount, more than most of the contenders, but still not a crazy amount. But I don't see a target out there for
not really, bro.
To go for maybe like a Larry Marketing, but I think at this point Utah doesn't want to trade him.
Nah, at this point, I think they might just roll it out. Maybe I don't know exactly what their plan is, but like they're fine. Like they're not in a rush whatsoever. Their team is solid, and bro, if you're not willing to trade Kuminga or Moody. Especially Kuminga, who is like damn near the only valuable trade person. Like, what are you gonna do? You're not really gonna be able to do anything. And Kuminga, I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't mind a trade from the comments that he made.
Same thing with Moody.
Exactly. So I think that trading them might be the best option because, whatever, like you're giving them what they want, and then you kind of get it something for yourself. And with Curry there, bro, I know Curry's loyal, but how long until he starts generally getting upset about it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they won in 2022, but besides that, the past few years have not been the best for Warriors.
Definitely.
But moving on to our team, the Lakers, who we have talked about a lot, but like there's a lot of uncertainty right now when it comes to the trades because we're seeing D'Lo right now balling out, having the best stretch. Damn near as a Laker, the only time that it was close to this was like the first few weeks after he came back from the injury. But man, like I'm turned up. I'm really turned up. Part of me wants to jump to Murray. But a part of me is also very afraid that he's just going to fail under the LA lights.
Yeah. I think right now they have two directions. They can either continue with this team that they have. Obviously, D'Lo's rolling right now. Him and Austin love playing together. They have great chemistry. The chemistry in the team is immaculate right now. They can either continue to roll this out, see where it goes, or they
make
can
like a small move.
Make a small move here and there. There's going to be the Lakers are actually in a really good spot in terms of the buyout market. Not only did they actually have a little bit of extra money to spend because they didn't give Gabe Vincent the full mid-level exception. They actually saved a little bit of an amount, so they can go out and get other people. Also, they made this new rule in the CBA that teams over the cap, they can't necessarily sign people. So, for example, Gordon Hayward, if he goes into the buyout market, a team like the Bucks can't get him, a team like the Clippers can't get him, but a team like the Lakers can, and they're one of the only contenders that can actually go out there and get him, plus offer him a little bit more money. So that's interesting.
That would be a big move.
Exactly. They have that. Or they could just make some trades here and there. Obviously, they could use the contract of Gabe Vincent. I know he doesn't have any trade value, but his contract is a trade value, plus Jalen Hood-Schifino, Max Christie, or some second-round picks. Or they can go out there and use D'Lo and Rui to get a bigger trade, like what he was saying, DeJounte Murray. We can make a whole video about DeJounte Murray.
We might because we do have a lot to say about it. Yeah. So we're not gonna bore you guys just rambling on about it right now. But definitely, even if you're not a Lakers fan, keep an eye on what's gonna happen.
It's a lot of things, man. They're looking at a lot of people.
These next few weeks is gonna determine D'Lo's future, Rui's future, and
what do you want? What do you want as a Lakers fan? What's the perfect?
My dream scenario is that the team right now makes it work, stops capping. I mean, obviously, I want to say Darvin gets fired, but we should know that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna keep it realistic. My dream will be that the team stays good. We're able to pick somebody off the market, kind of like Gordon Hayward. Gabe Vincent comes back and he looks like the player that he did for the Heat. And then maybe we'll pick up maybe we make a trade for a center. I don't know who trade us it is exactly, but I
like a Nick Richards. He's barely making any money.
Something like that, bro. Yeah. Something because I mean we both feel the same way. We like the team. Yeah. The John Murray sounds good, but the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
I think there's a lot of holes there that a lot of people aren't looking at. I really do believe so. For example, just since we are talking about DeJounte Murray, he's connected to a lot of these teams. DeJounte Murray's a really bad finisher at the rim, right? He's not the best three-point shooter. He's only really good with the ball in his hands. D'Lo's much better with the ball off his hands than DeJounte Murray. He hasn't been really able to work with Trae Young, and he's honestly looked like a little bit of an overrated defender. So you're giving up a lot. D'Lo's balling out of his mind right now, and you gotta, if the Lakers are gonna make a trade like that, they really gotta be sure that DeJounte Murray is that guy, because they're gonna use all their assets right now to make this trade. The only pick that they have right now is a 2029 first round pick. If they wait till the offseason, they actually have 3 picks that they can use. That's enticing. They can go out and maybe like a star doesn't want to be there anymore, doesn't be in the team. You know, that happens all the time. So they could wait, or they can continue, or they can do that and trade for DeJounte Murray. But they really got to be sure. And I personally, I'm not the biggest fan.
Nah, I get it. Everything you said, I feel you on that. Gotta wait and see. Gotta not be a prisoner of the moment, because even though we like D'Lo and D'Lo has been playing really good, we have seen some really low lows from D'Lo. And my biggest fear is that we get to the playoffs and then we go against the Nuggets or even a team like the Phoenix Suns, something like that, and then he shrinks. He's unplayable. He's not playing defense.
And I don't really trust Darvin Ham to get the best out of him.
Exactly, I just don't. And then Austin Reeves is also showing a lot of defensive problems. So having D'Lo and Austin both getting exposed, that Suns game, that was horrible. Yeah. And who says that can't happen again? So yeah, let's just move on. We might make another video about it just because, like I said, we could talk about the Lakers forever. So next on, the Knicks.
This is a very interesting team.
It really is, because a lot of people are very high on them. But honestly, to me, they're the same. To me, they're still a tier under the contenders in the East. And I would still put a team like the Heat over them. I'm still putting the Heat, the Bucks, the Celtics, and the 76ers. I'm putting them like right there at 5th. And then even the Cavaliers are looking better than we expected. So you can't even put them like even the Pacers after trading for Siakam, they might be better than the Knicks right now. Maybe. So the main player that's being talked about is Bruce Brown. Obviously, he made that comment about Tom Thibodeau, which is kind of like
super random.
Asking the Knicks to trade for him. Super, like, he's getting traded. Nobody. He just is. Him and the Raptors doesn't make sense. And obviously, the Knicks is one of those teams that could trade.
No, absolutely. You know, right now they have the contracts to make it. Obviously, Fournier's $18 million expiring contract. Plus, they do got Quentin Grimes, who has shown that he doesn't want to be there anymore. They're not using him. Before last year, he actually used to be a starter for them. He hasn't been starting.
But over like a random situation.
Yeah, it is, especially because they were so high on him that they didn't want to trade him in the Donovan Mitchell trade. That was kind of one of the reasons that trade didn't go through, was because they didn't want to give up on Quentin Grimes.
Honestly, that was a mistake, but I'm not gonna get too much into it. I didn't.
For sure, I think we can definitely talk about that. And they also have a bunch of first-round picks, and I think their first-round picks are a bit overrated. They're heavily protected from other teams, stuff like that, so they're not the best, but they do have some stuff to work with. So I think they have the best trade package right now for Bruce Brown, and that's why we didn't even mention him for the Lakers, just because I personally don't want him. But I think for the Knicks, he makes a lot of sense, right? He's going to give you something very similar to Josh Hart, and I did mention that in a comment section in Instagram called Make the Knicks Great Again. A lot of people say, great account. A lot of people were feeling the idea just because you can't ever have too many of those type of players. Those are winning players, and if you bring them to the team, hey, who knows, man? He is a great defender. He can play multiple positions. He can play both on and off the ball. He's just not the best shooter. He's not having the best season this year. But if Quentin Grimes is disgruntled, obviously Evan Fournier doesn't play, he can be huge for them. But like he said, I don't know if that can necessarily take them to another level.
I think it'll be better, and they'll give any team a scare. But even then, at the end of the day, I love Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. I have mixed opinions on, but I think them two as your best players, that's just not good enough. You need a star. You need like a.
And I don't know if that star is out there right now. I don't know if
he's just not.
He's just not. He's just not.
And they're fine. They're fine the way they are. They can continue to contend, continue to make your team better. Obviously, never turn down an opportunity to make your team better.
They need like a backup point guard. They need a few things around the margins, but they can get that easy.
And at the end of the day, Knicks fans that went through so many years of being bad, it's good to have a few years. Like the Knicks, at the end of the day, like we're talking about it, we have found ourselves watching their games, especially me. I don't know, like. Because at the end of the day, like, as MSG, is the Knicks. We want them to be good. It's better for the NBA. So, yeah, definitely, I like what they're doing at the end of the day. So, moving on to the Celtics.
So, the Celtics, again, not really much to talk about. They need some bench depth, right? They just don't have that much to give. They do have a $6 million trade exception that they got from the Grant Williams-Stanton trade. But other than that, they don't really have that many assets. Yeah. They don't have that many picks. They don't have that many things.
That's a team that they have enough. They have enough. It really just comes down to, is Tatum and Brown going to come through in the biggest moments?
Obviously, if there's like a slight trade in there. I just don't know. I was looking around, reading a few things. some players, like for example, Shetty Osman and stuff, stick out. But I just don't know what's really out there for that $6 million that they necessarily need. That's necessarily out there. So for them, their two best players, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they have to show up in the big moments. That's all they need right now.
I don't know if they will.
And Joe Mazzulla too. Joe Mazzulla, man, you guys know I've been saying it for a while. I'm not the biggest fan of that guy. I don't think he's that good of a coach. And I don't know if Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and the other guys are good enough to make up for him, especially in the big moments.
I mean, that's pretty much it. The Celtics right now, if we're looking at their season, you will think that they're contenders by a lot. But the only reason we don't think that is because of what he just said.
Yeah.
The coach and the two best players. But this might. Like, the thing about them that it could be the year any year. Like, this year might be the year that they go to the playoffs and they're good and they say they just win the championship and nobody will be surprised.
Yeah, kind of like the Nuggets.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So, next, the Sixers. A team that the reason that we talk about them so much is because Joel Embiid, he could be the best player in the NBA. He just can't. Right now, he's looking like an MVP. No question about it.
Nah, I'm just checking the time.
Yeah. He's looking at an MVP, no question about it. And if he didn't have that horrible playoff history, I would say, oh yeah, he's the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
He's one of the best centers of all time. But he has just not duplicated his performance in the playoffs. And right now, their team is good, but it's tough for me to think that they have a chance to win the championship. When your second best player is Tyrese Maxey and your best player is somebody, like I said, we have not been able to trust in the playoffs.
I mean, I totally agree, man. Right now, they're in a bit of a weird position because all the trades that they've made recently is to have cap space for the summer. Well, what's been happening? Pascal Siakam has been traded. Kawhi has resigned. Paul George is probably going to resign. OG Anunoby's probably going to resign. A lot of these players that were going to be in the market next year, they're off the market now, right? So what they got to look at is say, okay, a lot of the players that we were looking for in the market are gone. Do we just do our free agency now, kind of like a pre-agency in the trade deadline? Do we go out and get that third option? Do we go out and move like that? They have the pieces. They have Batum making $11 million. Marcus Morris, 17. Rocco, $12 million. Melton, who hasn't been the best, $8 million. And they also got Tobias Harris, the last year of his deal, making $40 million. Wow. If there's a move out there that they can make, they have the draft assets. They have the money. They definitely have enough money. They have
their
the pieces. They have everything right now to make a huge move, to come back next year even better, or to just go off and just win the championship this year if they can get the right piece. But like we've been saying, is that piece out there? It's not.
I don't believe it is. I mean, the players that come to mind, I don't mention the Cavs are doing good.
The Cavs have been winning.
Cavs have been winning, and I think it is going to happen because even though the Cavs have been winning, they're probably going to lose in the first round again, just being completely honest. And
I don't think DeJounte Murray's that guy. D'Angelo Russell, I don't think he's that guy.
He's not.
It's a lot of players.
Green is not that guy either. Tyrese Maxey is damn near better than him. Like,
yeah. DeMar DeRozan is not that guy.
Yeah, he's just not. So it
would have to be some crazy stuff like the Warriors are ass and Curry goes.
Yeah, but
I can't see that happen.
Not yet.
It's
not out of the possibility.
You know how the NBA be crazy sometimes.
Curry and Embiid, they are signed to the same brand. They are like, I think they know each other.
Yeah.
Now they're friends right now. I'm not gonna start exaggerating, but they are above Under Armour.
No, I think Embiid recently changed.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I forgot to what. Maybe Reebok got that look.
Oh yeah, but I know they I know they knew each other. They have worked together in the past.
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't think he'll go to the Sixers. I think he'll probably stay in the West, but whatever. Or maybe the Hornets. Whatever. That's a video for another day.
Yeah.
But
it's tough, man. It's tough. The
Sixers this year, they're not gonna win it. I'll say that right now. Dude, it will have to be at Embiid goes to playoffs and dominates.
Or they get like the perfect player that he becomes available somehow.
Wow,
bro. Because last year we got to think about it like this too. Last year I did not think Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were gonna be traded in the coming into the season. Well, not coming into the season, but if in the middle of the season
what I would say about them is that in the offseason they did ask for a trade. Bro.
Yeah, for sure. But they were balling.
I know. But even then there was a little bit of they just kind of went into a season because they were forced to.
Yeah.
And then eventually they were like,
the only star right now that is in a bad situation might be Steph Curry, and I really don't see him going.
Not yet. And I don't think a middle of the season trade request. I think that Curry's gonna ride it out. If they miss the playoffs horribly, then we'll see. We can make a video about that eventually too. But yeah, let's just move on to one of my favorite teams, the Mavericks, who have had a pretty solid season. Obviously, they're not at the top of the West like they were at the beginning of the year, but we kind of expected that. They're going to stay around the 5th, 6th seed. Luka is having a great year. Kyrie recently he caught fire. He had a few 40-point games, so it was good to see. Just know that he's still capable of that. And but their team still does have the holes. They're missing defense. A player with both of them is ironically Dorian Finney-Smith. If they could get him back, wow, that team is gonna be up there. At the end of the day, you can't put any team, you can't put them to like okay, what was I gonna say? You can't count them out against any team because when you have two scorers that can go for 40 every single night, they're scary. Like for example, if the Lakers went against them, I'll be a bit scared because they're great shooters. They have great shooters all around, and those players are dangerous, bro. But I think if they're really gonna contend, they gotta get like a Dorian Finney-Smith.
That team is missing something for me to really think of them as the favorites. I'm not sure what that is. It might be defense. I think it is defense, but I just gotta see it come together because, like you said, in the playoff situation, we've seen it before in the past with Luka and Kyrie. They have shown up in the big moments, always. So I think when you have those two players, and if you can put something around them, put some great defense. I put right here, Dorian Finney-Smith, Bruce Brown. Get players like that. Continue stacking up those types of players, bro. If they can get both of them, they're not going to. But if they can get both of them, oh my gosh.
Wow.
And they have things to trade. They have Rashawn Holmes making $12 million. The guy that's not in their rotation. They have Maxi Kleber making $10 million. Again, a guy that plays sometimes, but you can easily replace him with Dorian Finney-Smith.
Yeah, he's not as good as he used to be.
Seth Curry, $4 million. Dwight Powell, $4 million. They have a few first-round picks. They even got Tim Hardaway. I know he's been balling, but he kind of does a lot of what Luka and Kyrie do. Tim Hardaway, he does a lot of what Kyrie and Luka do, scoring bunches, three-point shooting. I know he's been great this year. One of the 6 men in the league. One of the damn near leading the NBA in 6 men of the year candidate.
I forgot about him.
He's been great. But is it just too much? Is it just too much of the same thing? Do they need to use his money to make a move? Maybe.
Nah, yeah, 100%. And I think this year, I'll be shocked if that happens this year.
Yeah.
But I am definitely very intrigued to see them in the playoffs. I wanna, for example, them against a team like the Phoenix Suns, you never know how it could happen.
Give them 2 years.
Them against a team like even the Lakers, even like the Clippers, that would be interesting. Another rematch between Luka and the Clippers, that would be really fun. But honestly, at the end of the day, the West is still kind of wide open. I would still put the Nuggets on number 1 just because they do have that. They're the reigning champs, so you can't put any other team against them, especially when every single team has had their own questions. But yeah, they're gonna be a very interesting team come playoff time. Let's just say it.
All right, that kind of wraps it up. If you guys really want, leave us in the comments. We'll make videos on other teams. We can talk a little bit about the Pelicans, the Nuggets. We just wanted to do the ones that are really, really being talked about right now. But we can definitely do more in the future.
We can even talk about the Suns as a team.
It's just they don't have that much moves.
Yeah, they kind of suck with the team.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching. Give us your thoughts down below. What's your favorite team? What moves do you want your favorite teams to make? Please let us know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. Please like, subscribe, hit that post notification. Be the first to watch our videos. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and peace out.
Peace out.